So, welcome. I hope you can hear me. Hello, and let's start with introductions. Hello, everybody. This is Anna, your community and growth lead here at Tangem. We have a lot of things in store for you today. Let's kick things off with some introductions. So, as I mentioned, my name is Anna. I make sure that everything is here to support you in your crypto journey, whether you are brand new to Tangem or you have been a seasoned pro in the industry for ages and ages, and you are just here to learn a little bit more about what exactly we do and what kind of behind the scenes footage we have for you today. So I think today my role here is just to make sure that David is supported and guided. David is our wonderful Tangem ambassador for the German community and generally just a wonderful crypto pro. So before we get started, be sure to stay until the very end. We have some roadmap announcements. We also have some updates in terms of what the next year is going to be looking like, although this is just a short version. Our big roadmap for 2025 will be towards the next month. So let's guide you through all of the things that make Tangem great. And without further ado, let's kick things off. Hello and welcome, David. How are you today? I don't know what it is. You know, I always get a little bit nervous whenever AMAs get started, but you're going to guide me through everything. So tell us who you are, because people may not know you before. We've had such tremendous growth. So it's going to be really great to have the community meet you.
Hey, Anna. Hey, Tangem community. Thank you very much for having me today. My name is David. I'm located here in Germany. And no, my camera is not broken. Black and white is just my style. So I'm not only the Tangem brand ambassador for the English and the German AMAs, I'm also a content creator and for a pretty long time in crypto industry. I'm 39 years old, and my very first touch points with the blockchain and Bitcoin I'm gonna have had in 2016 with Bitcoin mining. So you might see that I have quite a little bit experience and some things seen in the last decade, roughly decade, most likely 9 years in the market. And I'm with Tangem for a little bit over 2 years. I mean, it's blasting how quick this time went. And again, I'm more than proud to be part of that team and happy to be here today, Anna.
Absolutely. Well, David's definitely our top person to talk to. Any kind of questions, you will see him answering, little or small. It's going to be all over the place. He's going to be helping anybody in the communities. It's not just the German one, so you might see him in the English one and so on. You might see him at conferences and so on. So definitely a person to talk to in the community. All right. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but today's format is going to be, we're going to be running through a little presentation, sort of all the frequently asked questions that we've seen before. You know, we've been in the community for 2 years, so we both know what it's like to have basic questions, but also like confusing little moments like that may not have been obvious to you. We're going to be running through all of those today, and we're going to be then finishing up with some live questions. So if you have any kind of questions, this is the perfect time. Drop them into the comments. I'm going to be pulling them up onto the screen, and then we're going to be running through everything one by one, making sure that everybody's supported and guided. All right, I'm going to start the presentation. I'll see you in a bit. All right, you can see my screen. Everything's well designed. Let's kick things off with a really simple, easy question. David, run us through this one. What makes Tangem different from other hardware wallets on the market today? Maybe some of our main points.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things to start, but let me really start with the most important at all. Tangem is very simple to use, very simple to set up. And here's the big point, what really stuns me when I get in touch with that wallet the very first time. It's durable as hell. Sorry to use that word, but I need to show you something. Take a look to that card. That was my very first Tangem card that I drilled through it, that I shot it with a caliber 22, that I ran it over with a 10-ton fork lifter, that I froze, that I cooked. I did everything with it. I washed in a washing machine. And you know what? Take a look to it. It is still functioning. And this is what really kicks me off all the time. You cannot have another wallet that really is capable to keep that loads, to keep that things without getting killed, and it still works. But this is really something that blasted my mind when I have had the chance the very first time to take a look to Tangem. In the general scheme of things, what you also need to consider is it's easy to set up. But this is not only the pros of the wallet. There are a lot of other things. When you compare it to hot wallets, so wallets that are basically software designed and running just only on your mobile device or maybe on your computer, there are a lot of things that are absolutely unsafe. You may have your seed phrases stored somewhere where somebody can social engineer it. You don't need a physical proof that you are the owner of the wallet. And everything is just really only based on software. In comparison to that, hardware wallets in generally are the most safe and securest version that you can have on the market to really celebrate self-custody. And this is really the key point. Make sure that you have control about your crypto assets and only you. And here is what makes Tangem so outstanding to every other hardware wallet. You don't need to study for hours and days and weeks how to set up the wallet, how to add new networks. Everything is preset. You just need literally 3 to 5 minutes to set up your wallet. And I can promise you, no matter if you're 9-year-old son or your 81-year-old granny, every person who can read a text can set up that wallet within 5 minutes. And that is most likely the very shortest explanation I can give why Tangem is really the best on the market, the most safest, and the most easiest to set up. I can talk for another hour for that, but I hope that that is enough for the very first beginning.
No, it's a really great way to put it. I can attest to this. I have parents who are quite new to crypto, and I've also had people who are really new to understanding how hardware wallets work. And the process is just so ridiculously simple. And we'll run through a couple of things, what makes us really different and why you don't need to remember anything in your head. Your only task becomes to protect the 3 cards that you have, or a ring, as we have on the slides over here. So it is so simple. We'll run you through it. Let's not waste time. Let's keep it going. All right. David, run us through the next one as well. I think you have a live demo for this one. So how do I set up my Tangem wallet for the first time? So talk is cheap. Let's actually prove it. Go set something up, and then we can marvel in its joyous occasion.
That is the beauty thing about that. I mean, you can really see if you have downloaded your Tangem app, it's very, very simple. Just click on the app, go to your face scan. That is something very unique. I mean, the app checks if you are really the owner, first of all. What you really have to do is go to the 3 dots in the very top of the wallet, go very down, say add new wallet, then scan the card. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can see here, I got doodles and doodles of different designs, but I thought, okay, let's keep something cool. We stick with one of our general pastel cards, the Bitcoin edition and the HODL edition, the in HODL we trust. I don't know what's the name, but no matter what. And you can combine every card of whatever you got on your desk. So let's grab one card, scan it, and then he said, ready to scan. What we're going to say is, okay, create a wallet or others. Here's the point. If you say create a wallet, he set up the complete wallet without seed phrases. We highly recommend that all the time because seed phrases is one of the topic that allows hackers and scammers to social engineer your hardware wallet. So we don't go the way with seed phrases. We say create a wallet. What we're going to do is we scan the very first card. He's ready. And from that point on, he asked, do we want to add another card or ring? What you can do is you can grab your ring, scan it, or we grab another card. And this is what we're going to do. Say, scan another card, scan it. And if we want to, we can set up a third card. Let's do that. And here it is. This is the maximum of security. That is all the time also what we highly recommend. Get yourself a set of 3 cards to scan that to the wallet. We say finalize backup. Make sure that you scan for the very first time all the cards you have, because later on, once you finish the setup process, you couldn't add another card to that. We say create the wallet, and now you create a password. It doesn't matter how long it is, special signs, big letters, only numbers. It really doesn't matter, but we keep it simple here. We say 4 times 0. I don't want to recommend you doing that, but it is just for demonstration. We say submit. And now it comes to the magic point. The Tangem app triggers the microprocessor, the EL6 Plus microprocessor on the card. And this microprocessor creates right now your private key. That takes 15 seconds. We couldn't speed that up because everything's live. I'm so sorry for that. But I guess we got that couple of minutes here.
I can entertain in the meantime and say, yes, it actually does take 15 minutes, 15 seconds.
Sorry, 15 seconds. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is the very first time. What is very important to know right now? the private key is written on that card. Now, by the Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol, that private key is copied to the smartphone. The smartphone never knows the private key. This is the key point. What we're going to do is he tells right now, please scan the second card. And what we're going to do is we hold it in here, 15 seconds again. Not minutes. Did I already say minutes, Anna? Okay.
I said minutes before. I made that mistake. But we're
Oh,
doing
really?
this live, guys. We're trying our
Okay.
best.
So after 15 seconds, we are done again. And now he asks us, hey, buddy, let's scan the third card. Come on. Hey, that's live.
I know. But I think your internet you mentioned before isn't the greatest. So it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Okay, we got a small error here. Set scan card again. You know what? Maybe it was the reason because I laid it down.
Either way, I can keep entertaining for hours, so no worries.
For hours? No, we don't need to do that. Okay, that is ready. And now here's the next thing. Say scan the last card. And we do the 15 seconds again. Typically, I don't put it on the ground. I really got it up because I got a lot of cables underneath my setup table here. Maybe I got some interferes. So, but you know what? I love to entertain you. I love to teach you. So never put that somewhere down. We all the time keep it in our hands. And now you can see we're done.
Whew. Yay.
Okay.
But this is what we mean with talk is cheap. We'd rather have this process live with you. That way we can prove that we are people of our word, that it actually does take 3 minutes if you're not blabbing in the middle of it. But it is what it is.
And here's the great thing. If you're going to take a look to all the other wallets out there on the market, I don't want to name any names, but here it is. You got right now more than 45 layer ones available on Tangem. You can grab it. For example, let's say XRP. We want XRP here. We want also Solana on here. We also want maybe Tron, also very popular, Avalanche on the mainnet, Stellar, XLM, also very important network here. A lot of people work on that. We got Polkadot, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. And we say continue. You also want to see my face again, and you also want to have one of the cards. It doesn't matter which one you grab, just as a proof that you are the owner of that wallet. And with that, you have your complete wallet set up. We're all set. Check it out.
Perfect.
This is our new wallet here. It's very comfortable. It's very easy. It's very quick. I don't know how long it took right now, but it was quite easy, wasn't it?
I think it's worth to prove that we are people of our word, that it actually does take that little, and it takes very little steps. Like just tapping cards is as simple as what the entire process is. There's no complicated cables. There's no fuss. There's no charging. I can go on and on, but we have a lot of other questions to get through. How about I run you through the next one? Because you started talking about it already, right? So this next question is, how does Tangem work as a seedless wallet, and why is it a safer option? So David did mention beforehand that what makes us really different is that we have two methods of setup. So there's either a seed phrase setup, which is a very traditional, very old school. It's a method that people are kind of used to. And what we've done is we've innovated beyond that. And now we have something called a seedless setup. So what is a seedless setup? Seedless setup essentially just means that your private keys are not in a human readable form. So there is no method of extracting it, which means that there is no ability to lose your seed phrase. There's no statistics in my mind right now, apart from, I think like 90% of issues that happen with people losing their crypto is most of the time people just misplace their seed phrases, or they have them exposed. And what happens essentially is people lose access to their crypto. So what we've done is we've created the physical solution for that. So you only have 3 different cards, and it is the max amount that you can have in a singular set. You can't add anything later after the fact. So as David showed you in the previous demo, what essentially happens is you only have 3 cards, which means that it is the only physical 3 keys of your copy. So why do we prefer seedless? Seedless essentially just means that your seed phrase just can't be exposed, cannot be accessed, and it therefore limits your liability to lose your seed phrase or to have it compromised. So that is about the seedless version. We're still not excluding wonderful dear old seed phrases. If you prefer to go that route, there's no issue with that. We like giving people options. We like having different seed phrase opinions for users. So, you know, it's there to make sure that people have different ways of setting anything up. So after you set something up, you cannot convert it later, because that's just the method that that seed phrase is either created or not. If it's not created, then it doesn't exist. There's no seed phrase for you to potentially lose. This is not a software decision on our part. It is just the method that the cards are created and the wallet is created. So you can store all your cards separate in secure locations, and you can set it up to whatever method that you would like. We have different guides on our websites about seed phrases, how to set one up without it. You can also have ones of how to set up with it. And we also have everything on our socials. So for example, this is Reddit. This is a little bit of an outdated screen, right? But it has all of the guides in there in terms of how does everything work. So you should find it relatively easy. All right. How about next question? David, are you there with us, or have I been rambling too much?
No, ma'am. That was very interesting. Thank you so much for that wrap up.
Okay, I will rant more a little bit later, but right now, run us through the next question, which is, where is my crypto stored when I use Tangem?
That's a pretty good question. The majority of the people really think that it's stored on the phone or maybe on the card. No, that's not the case, because here's the point. The blockchain is typically, it depends a little bit on the blockchain, which blockchain you're using, is decentralized. So it means that your cryptos, the keys to your cryptos, lay directly on the blockchain or located on the blockchain. So the items that you got with your cards, no matter which one from our wallet we're using right now, this is nothing more than the key to your house. If you lose the key to your house, you typically lose the access to your cryptos. Another very, very common question, what we got typically is, when I got this card here, can I use that on multiple phones? Here's a good point. This is a really good question and a very interesting point. If you maybe have split up that wallet to 3 cards, or you have 3 cards, and you want maybe that your husband want to use one card and maybe your mom want to use the other card, you can install the wallet on multiple devices. What you're going to need is the private PIN that you set up during first setup process and one card, not more, not less. So with that, you can use the wallet on every device, but you need to make sure if you want to make any swaps directly on Tangem, what's a very big benefit, what we also have included in our app, that your assets don't need to leave the wallet by its own. You need to have at least one card and the proof that you are the owner. So that is very simple and very easy. So I think we also have another question. How do I move from another wallet to Tangem? Can I import my existing funds? And this is something very, very special. And I'm more than happy that we have that question, because I get asked that oodles and doodles of times. I'm also running the German Telegram community channel together with 2 very wonderful admins. And thank you very much from me for that support that you guys are going to do. We see a lot of people coming in and users and saying, hey, I have imported my seed phrases from that wallet to Tangem. And in the majority of the times, there are coming up a lot of problems. First of all, I would highly recommend never import seed phrases from another wallet to the Tangem wallet, because here's the point. You never know what happens to the seed phrases before. Maybe they get exposed, maybe the company that have had that wallet used that seed phrases and saved it by their own somewhere else, or maybe someone hacked that seed phrases. So our recommendation from Tangem is all the time, set up your cards like we did that before, completely new, and then transfer your funds. But coming back to the main questions, yes, for sure, you can import the seed phrases that are according to the BIP39 standard directly into the Tangem wallet. No matter if you got 12, 15, 18, 21, or 24 words, you can do that. And you can also import your seed phrase plus a passphrase. That is something we also offer. But it could happen that specifically for some Bitcoin networks that you don't see your funds right away. You need to have some kind of extra import, what really bothers you. So our recommendation, long story short, do not import other seeds, but yes, it is possible.
Of course. You did mention something there about, if something happens to your seed phrase, essentially, that means that your entire wallet, wherever the device goes later. One other note is, do not connect to any external sources that you are not aware of. That could also result in some sort of damage to your funds. So as long as you have a brand new seed phrase, you are completely safeguarded, right? If you import, there's always risks attached to that. So that's always up to the user. If you want to go for it, then that works for you. If you don't, then we also have other options. Either you create a new seed phrase or you go seedless. All right. David, or is this one my own? Yeah, you've run through the last two, haven't you? All right, so this one is my one. So how does one send crypto to and from Tangem? So what we have on the screen right now is we have a couple of options in terms of how it looks like with the UI. So sending and receiving is very simple through and through. It just depends on where you're sending from. But from inside us, we can always explain the process of how it looks. So to receive, you first have to generate an address through the markets information page. After which you will have your own token address. This is an important note. So as you see on the screen, we have each token is got its own network in it. So this is something that's really different from centralized exchanges. Centralized exchanges, you may not have to add each network individually. So for example, if you want USDT on Tron, it will be one token. USDT on ETH, it will be another token. So each one individually in Tangem, you will have to manually input and have each one there under your assets. So to receive, you will have to have that asset. Make sure that you are sending over the correct network. So I know that some people are really new to this. And I'll be honest, I had this mistake when I was just first couple of weeks into crypto years and years ago. I was transferring something from a centralized exchange and I thought, wow, this looks like a really cheap network to send over. And you don't really realize that networks at the time make such a big difference. But that just means that all of my crypto that I sent over was completely lost. So please do not make that same mistake as I did and as many others did, which is a normal problem to have since you are new and this is a learning curve. So just be sure that you're sending over the correct networks. And then to send from Tangem somewhere else, say to a centralized exchange, or if you want to send it to another wallet, hot or cold, it's basically the same process where you have the receiving address in hand. You send it over the correct network and you will have to monitor everything from inside the app. As you can see here on the screen, you would have to essentially click on the Explorer to check that all the transactions have gone through and everything works correctly. So that's basically how it works from our side. Let's run you through the next question. That will be up to David again. So security and functionality section. So how do I protect my wallet from unauthorized access?
There are multiple ways. And first of all, we're reading the chat on YouTube, by the way. This is live. We're just gathering the questions. Anna is typing them up in the meantime, and we're making after our prepared questions or our prepared session, all the questions that you have in the chat. So please be a little bit patient. We're going to take care about all your questions until they're done in the very end. Okay, long story short, Tangem have a bunch of security mechanisms. And every time when I try to bypass them, I'm totally stunned. First of all, what you need to understand, Tangem follows a method that is very interesting. Like I said, or like you have seen on my app, when I open my phone, when I open the Tangem app, the first thing that the app is asking me is my face, my biometrics, or if I don't have set up the biometrics, he's asking me for a fingerprint or to scan the card and use my password. Without having something that I am or that I know or that I have, I couldn't access the app. That is very important because even when somebody finds your phone, add a new face to it or new biometrics, Tangem blocks all access to the app. And I was stunned when I tried that. So I gave my wife rights to my phone. I'm quite not sure if that was a good idea, but anyway, so it really surprises me that Tangem thought about blocking the app in the background until I have scanned all my wallets to prove that I'm still the owner, that I still have access to my phone. So this is the very first level of security. The second level of security is once you have access to your app, you can see your funds, you want to swap something, you want to send something to another wallet, or you even want to add a new network. This is not possible without your card, without something you have. And this is quite important. That makes the wallet to a hardware wallet, because without the physical tap, phone to the card or the card to the phone, this is the proof that you are the owner, that you sign the transactions for a swap or maybe for sending the assets or to add a new network. And this is very, very important. And another very, let me say, high level tip that I want to give you, a high level hint that I want to give you, is probably do yourself the favor and never ever use the wallet that you have with all your oodles and doodles of crypto assets on there Never use that to go ahead with WalletConnect with DeFi applications. What you're going to do, I mean, you can see that here. I got tons of crypto wallets here. I got one for all my daughters, and I got 6 different wallets where I store my funds. I really need to make sure that I diversify myself. I also use a couple of other wallets. But anyway, what I have a burner wallet. On this wallet, and I can show you that. Here's a pretty cool trick. So if you swap your phone around, now my balance is not anymore hidden. I don't want to flex with all my goofy money that I got on that wallet, therefore I just had it a little bit. You can see here what I got. I got a little bit of Ethereum on there for gas fees. I got a little bit of Polygon there for gas fees. I got a little bit of BNB for gas fees. And that's all I got. Okay, and I got my little bit of Bitcoin, whatever. So this is my burner wallet. Whenever I do some applications with WalletConnect, like something for staking, I want to claim some airdrops, whatever I do, what empowers me to connect my wallet to a DeFi application, I only use my burner wallet, because when I unfortunately sign maybe a malicious contract that might drain my complete wallet, I make sure that I only lose a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit of Polygon, and a little bit of BNB. That's all I'm going to lose. Just imagine you're going to run with your physical wallet full of all your money you got in your pocket to a store and somebody robs you. That wouldn't be very beneficial. So therefore, highly recommendation from our side, get yourself another Tangem wallet, use that as a burner wallet, and don't use your wallet with all your funds on there. You won't do that in the real world. So why are you going to do that in the Web3 world?
Absolutely. Diversification is the key to any kind of storage solution. Everybody needs to have some sort of mix of different storage devices. We're not just saying get a bunch of Tangems. Go for whatever options you feel are best for you. But it's just, it's not very wise to have everything in one basket. So getting a burner essentially just means that you're, safe and protected, and you have that extra little peace of mind that you're not connecting somewhere a little bit odd or shady, and that way you are protected and don't have to worry. All right, David, let me switch on the presentation again. You've mentioned this before. I think this question is mine, actually. I did see some comments right now coming through. I completely understand the slight criticism when people are saying this looks pre-recorded. It definitely isn't recorded. If you want me to hold up some sign, I can do it, live in a way. But our live questions will be at the very end. The way that these videos function is we do actually use these for questions later on. For example, like somebody answered something in the chat and they want to know what is an access code. So we can send a link to this exact section, which is why we have it this way. So we have a live section, and we also have this one-on-one communication with people directly here. So, okay, let's run through it. What is an access code? How does it work? What if I enter my code incorrectly? So David was right to mention that there's definitely different ways that we have security measures in place. So if you create an access code, you need to do it immediately upon setup. It will ask you to do the access code. There is no method around this. You will need to have an access code. The Face ID or Touch ID goes on top of the access code. So your access code can be anything. It can be as simple as just a couple of digits. It can be anything to this long array of letters, numbers, characters, and so on. There's no limit to it. I think there's got to be something. It can't just be millions and millions. But point being that you can have it as complicated as you would like. On top of that, you have the option of putting on your Face ID or your Touch ID or other biometric that you have. And that way you would have your access code replaced by your Face ID during the process. If you change to a different phone, you will still need to have your access code. And if you forget your access code, there's different methods to restoring it. So this is why we say that you need to keep your cards in safe, secure, and definitely separate locations. Because with 2 different cards, so out of your 3 sets, you have 2 cards, you can reset the access code, essentially confirming that it is you. You have reasonable access to 2 of your cards, and that possibly just means that it is you who is making that access code change. If you're absolutely certain, like 100%, that you are not going to forget the access code, you can also disable this. So access code recovery is enabled, and you can disable it. You can also do it on different cards. So you can have on different cards a different access code. So one card might have one, another one, and so on. And you can also disable the access code recovery on 3 separate devices at the same time. So that way you are definitely making sure that nothing's going missing. Nobody wants to be in a situation where they forget their access code and there's no method of getting into it. So use caution. Definitely only disable this if you are absolutely certain that you are not going to forget it. All right. David, my darling, let's run through this next one. How do I ensure Tangem Wallet is authentic and not a fake?
That's a very very intelligent question, honestly. So there is no way I would buy a hardware wallet used on Craigslist or eBay or anywhere else except Tangem. And I not say that because Tangem is, or I'm part of the Tangem team. What the app is doing or what the device is doing, once you are in that scan process that we have had in the very beginning, this is really the only time when the phone builds up a connection to our mini Tangem server. So we have card numbers here, batch numbers, production, not serial number. This serial number gets checked one time during the setup process if this is a really Tangem produced card. This is not get saved. This is not get stored or connected with your personal informations. So here's a good thing. We even don't have a connection between our shop system and our card checking system. So everything really runs offline except this one point where we need to make sure that this is really a Tangem produced card. So therefore, I mean, I don't want to recommend it, but if you have a used Tangem card, you can reuse it again or use it from a friend, because once you set up the process new, you're going to wipe the card, clean the chip with the old private key. It really, everything get lost on there, and you get a complete new, fresh, written private key on it by the phone, by the card. So that is very important. And we're going to check that during the setup process. So therefore, that is a very, very important step, and what really makes sure that nobody can send you a Tangem wallet with maybe private keys on it, because you have to run that through the very first process by your own. We saw in the past some very rare cases where some wallets were set up and there was a small sticker inside there, please use that code. If you see that, don't use it. Wrap it or just delete the card and rewrite it again, and you're definitely safe and secure with your crypto assets.
Absolutely. The case that you're bringing up, yeah, so anything that you create for the first time is going to be yours, right? If there's any other instructions that you come across, things happen. We've never had any case of anything being tampered with, but this is just in hypotheticals. If something does come up and you're thinking that something just feels off, the Tangem app will tell you whether the cards are authentic, and they will also tell you if something's happened with some sort of access code. Like, for example, like David mentioned, if you have something before your own setup. Point being, if you get your cards, then you need to set them up by yourself, only by yourself, and that is the only way that the app is going to process. There's not going to be some sort of access code in advance. Everything is produced by you and known by you and only you. There's no method of connection between us and the cards. There are serial numbers, but they are purely just batch factory numbers. They are not identified with your wallet. There's no method of having that identification. Think of it as, I use this in the community, so think of it as a flash drive that you load up with information. If you delete all the information from there, security experts, please don't argue me on this. I know there's a method of recovery, but point being, if you delete everything from the flash drive, then all that information is wiped and ready to go. So if you want to reuse your cards, sure. If you want to reset to factory settings, also not an issue. So good.
And another very important fact that will really, let me say, throw on the table a little bit is the microprocessor that is embedded in the card, that is completely pre-loaded with software. Once that EAL6 plus patented Samsung processor is inmolded in the card, there's no way you can do a firmware update on that card. So no matter what goofy regulations might come up in the future from whatever country, Europe, so there is no way that we can even get an update on that microprocessor. What is very, very important, what we really love and what really makes us proud, that we can say everything that's on the market, everything that's there is yours, no matter what anybody just forces us. And even if a government comes to us and say, hey, David is maybe involved in some strange things, we need to block his assets or we need his private keys. Tangem say, hey, sorry, we don't know who David is. We don't know how many wallets David got. I mean, maybe they know because I show everything here on my phone, but they do never know, or Tangem never know who's the owner of what card. They can never block your assets. They can never give somebody else the funds, or even get to the position where they can freeze your funds. So privacy on the very highest level.
Absolutely. This just information is just not even able to be extracted. We have no method of knowing who you are. All of our information is wiped in terms of shipping data, any other kind of information that gets across our desks. And even then, they are not identified to you. You can be anonymous for all you want. We don't know who you are. So everything that we do has simplicity, safety, and security in mind. And that's just the way that we operate as a Swiss company. But just going beyond that, it's in the ethos of the entire crypto world. And we would like to keep all of our ethos in mind and while creating all of our products enjoyment for you. Cool. David, next question. Guess for who? For you again. Let's go.
I love that. Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to the features and advanced usage. This is maybe not for everybody, but we do think that more and more people should be using this. There's really no reason for anybody to use any kind of other services apart from a Tangem. But David, tell us all about it. What is a Tangem Express and how does it handle buying, selling, and swapping all your crypto?
That is one of the most used features on my wallet, honestly. So Tangem Express, long story short, is your complete exchange in your Tangem app. I don't need to say any more, because the interesting fact is, when it comes to asset losses, when it comes to mistakes, when it comes to lost funds, what is the majority point of that? It's wrong network, wrong address, or maybe scam. We at Tangem really thought about what can we do to ensure that the users have a seamless experience? Does it really have everything very comfortable within one app? And then we thought, okay, let's build in our own exchanges or decentralized exchanges into the app. And that is what we did with Tangem Express. We're pretty proud to have that feature there. So that really empowers you to just only use your Tangem app, go to the swap feature, and then swap one asset to another. And here's a good thing. It don't have to be in the same network. We also have cross-chain swaps available, so you can swap your Bitcoin to Ethereum, your XRP to Chainlink, your USDC from maybe Polygon network to USDT on Ethereum network. So it doesn't matter. We have 6 or 7 different providers right now that empowers us to use the whole variety of decentralized exchanges and also centralized exchanges with very, very affordable fees, and also the highest security level to make sure that you don't have any lost funds because of maybe wrong used network. And that is quality on the very highest level for our loved users and customers.
Absolutely. I don't think I can say anything on top of that. You explained it perfectly. It's simple, it's safe, it's secure. We have a range of external partners. Decentralized is always the way for a lot of people. People do like to have that anonymity behind the scenes. So we have a range of different options, whether it is optimizing for better fees or for more anonymity. There's different methods for everybody to enjoy. So we're always improving our Tangem Express line. Be sure to check out our roadmap, which I'll tell you a little bit about later.
The very important point on that, what I maybe forgot to tell a little bit, we had also new partners coming up like Mercury and also MoonPay. That is very important because they're very often used and very high frequently asked from a lot of partners. So that is very important for us that you also know that we're working on that. And if you got any additional on and off ramp services, maybe, or maybe exchanges that you like, put it to the chat or maybe write it to the Tangem support so we can rate your requests and also include that into our roadmap.
Of course. There's just so many different partners. You can't continue to just name them as just, OKX,
Yep.
Change Hero, Simple Swap, more and more coming each and every
Change
month. We
me,
update
change
everybody.
now. It's we had so many.
Partner for everybody. Whatever you
Yeah.
want, whatever is your cup of tea, we're always here to give you different options. So you don't have to go anywhere apart from to us. And you can also use different external services. We'll run through what WalletConnect is, but we'd rather that you make sure that all of your crypto is safe and secure in one single platform. All right, let's run to the next question, which would be, how do I add a custom token? So I know that we have 80 different networks, but what if that is just not enough and we're missing this great new meme token that just came out? Tell us about how to add a custom token.
Oh yeah, meme tokens. That's so beautiful. That's something we never needed on the crypto market, but it is what it is. So we don't want to bother about that. So here's a good point. What Anna also mentioned, we have had oodles and doodles of networks right now on layer ones. What you can do, very simple and very easy. You just go to the 3 points. You go to the very bottom and say app settings, connect support, terms of use. Here's a funny point. I'm not using that very often. Okay, you click on the card and then you say manage token. And with that, you can select which network, or if you want to use a new one, or you go to the plus in the very top. And then let's say you got a very goofy new meme token on maybe Solana. So you take a look to Solana. Where do we get Solana?
We definitely have Solana. I'm adding new tokens all the time under custom.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Let's say Casper. KRC20 support, something that we have had in the very recently, right before Christmas or around Christmas. I know everybody was waiting on that. So you can put your contract address in there. You can put the name in there, the symbol, and also the decimals. Once you got that, you say add token, scan the card, and you can have really every itty bitty meme token or customized token you have so far as the need to import that to your wallet. And this works with really most likely every other network that you can see here. Once you go to the plus sign, there are really, like I said, a lot of networks. Space, okay, you probably don't have a lot of Bitcoin networks, but on the Cosmos network, you have on the Energy Web Service, Ethereum, a lot of customized tokens on Ethereum. But honestly, we really have a lot of right now set up there. Casper, we have had the conversation about that, Octaspace, Polkadot, etc. So you can really add oodles and doodles of additional customized tokens to your Tangem wallet. What is very simple and very easy.
I'm going to give you quickly an example of where you can find, just in case you don't have a Tangem yet. If you've got a Tangem, you can just go and see it in the market section or in the managed tokens. You can see all of the tokens that we have there and add them directly. But if you would like to check what we don't have and you don't, what we have and you don't yet have a Tangem, then you can see on our website, there's a section where you can search everything in there, including all of the networks that we support. And then you can check whether everything that you want is supported by us. I promise you, it probably is. Anything that we don't have yet, it's coming up on the roadmap. We've got a lot of cool information coming up in the next couple of months about what we're going to be producing and making better for everybody. All right. Did I cover everything? Shall we move on? I think I'm a little bit scared of time. We are enjoying this too much, David. We are taking our sweet damn time. So let's try and make everybody a little bit happier by having all of their questions answered. I'll answer this one very quickly. So talking about custom tokens. So why would the price not be displayed sometimes in the app? So there's two scenarios for this. One scenario is you either have a custom token which is not being displayed. So what is a custom token? Essentially, it just means that there's a connection to the networks and it shows you what that access, what that token is, how much the monetary amount of it is. So for example, I have like X amount of tokens, but it would not show the price. The price is only shown when the network is natively integrated. The token is natively integrated. And that way you have that API connection between CoinGecko and us. If it is not there, then you can still buy, sell, transact, all of the same actions that you would before. It's just that it would not give you a real-time price indication of how much is that token actually worth in dollars, euros amount. So that's probably the reason why you're not seeing that. And another reason is most likely it will sometimes show unreachable network connections. This is nothing to be panicked about. We do have sometimes people freaking out and thinking, oh no, this shows like a little dash. What does this mean? This dash is used just generally in crypto devices and in crypto interfaces. It's basically just to signify some sort of connection is not going through. What is this connection coming from? Let's explain that one. So in layman's terms, there needs to be a connection to the network at all times. So Tangem, how we make sure that everything is decentralized and able to be there for you, regardless of whether we are around as a company or not, is we have to use only publicly available APIs. We have to have at least two of them. That is the only way that we integrate it. If it doesn't have at least two public APIs, then we just don't take that on and we just can't develop it into our system. Due to this, sometimes the API connection switches from one to another, during which time it might show this unreachable status. It is nothing to be alarmed about. It's purely just there to make sure that your decentralized nature is kept intact, that you still have your access to your crypto, but it just might take maybe 5-10 minutes just to switch over from one API to another. In which case, if something is out for longer periods of time, we will be sure to update what the reason is about. But most of the time, it just means that there's something going on with the network itself, and it has very little to do with us, but we are always there in the community to tell you about what's going on behind the scenes. So yeah, that's probably the two reasons. Anything else I missed out maybe?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
A nice solid no. Got it. In which case, I'll run you through this next one a little bit quickly. So what is WalletConnect? We mentioned it a little bit earlier about how to use different DeFi apps. Say you want to buy, sell, transact on different platforms. How would you do that without leaving the security of your own wallet? So what we have here is a method of connection, which is WalletConnect. WalletConnect is essentially a protocol that is sort of like a bypassing method of not having an external connection, but that way you have access to all the same information going in and out. WalletConnect has since rebranded, but for all intents and purposes, most people still use WalletConnect as the name of the connection of the protocol. So what you would do is you would essentially go to some sort of dApp or some sort of different website. You would click Connect, WalletConnect. Then you would click onto the connect via a certain button. This process is different on different websites, but this is just as an example. And then you would have that connection one-on-one, and you would have to transact the same way. It will still ask you for the access code, the method of authentication with the cards. So nothing has changed in the process. You still need your cards, you still need your access code, and you still need to have something on you on person. So let's say that you finished everything and then you want to disconnect. You can also click on disconnect at any point at any time. There's also different methods that we can point you to in terms of how to revoke access to different connection points. But generally speaking, that's how we use WalletConnect, and it's a very simple process. We do say anything that you connect to, whether it is authentic or not, it is an external connection nevertheless. It does come with some risks. Some people are coming to us and they're saying, I connected to a fake website. What do I do? I've had all of my assets stolen. What now? This is something that we try and warn people about. Any kind of external connections are a risk, and they may have liabilities for your assets and your accounts, and of course for your heart and soul, feeling like you've been wronged. So please only connect to safe and secure platforms. Please do not follow links that you do not know or do not recognize, even if it comes from somebody that you think should be a real person, because scammers and impersonators are here all the time. Please make sure that you're safe and using your crypto responsibly. All right, all of the disclaimers out of the way. Oof, every time that I try to make this slide quick, I don't know why, but I just end up saying so many different things about how we should be secure and making sure that everything's safe. So
It's a big point. There are so many things out there you could do and you could not do, you should not do. And I mean, we really try to save people, we really try to save their funds, but sometimes they just need to switch on the brain a little bit better.
Yeah, but most of the time it's just about, it's an accident. So
Yeah,
that's why we don't allow for external connections to other wallets. So we only do WalletConnect as a method of connecting to other sites or other platforms. It comes with a risk, any type of connection. So we don't want to put users into that kind of situation. So that's why we have that in place. All right. Talking about safety, security, and all the wonderful things. David, run us through the question of why do you need firmware updates? What did they change? And let's run through also the two different parameters. So one being the chip inside and the app that accompanies that.
Yeah, so I just started a little bit with the chip inside in a little bit further question that we have had earlier. So first of all, like I said, the EL6 Plus rated microprocessor that's in there, I really like to say microprocessor because it's not only a chip. A chip is a very dumb item. This is a processor that's embedded there. That's the same processor that's embedded also in passports that are absolutely safe. So, and they really have a very high security level. This microprocessor could never get updated. What's very important, because I mean, what's written there on once after molding or before molding, that is what stays on there. So we can never update that firmware. On the other hand is the Tangem app on your smartphone, on your device. It is very, very important that we add new features like new networks, new possibilities. Tangem, and that is also something that stuns me from the very beginning, is most likely 100% driven from new updates, for new recommendations, for new quality of life features by the community. So if you have something you like, you wish, you feel that's better for your operation, then we implement that if you tell us. And this is why it's very important for us that we add new updates for troubleshooting, for adding new networks, and also to make sure that you have the latest and safest version of the Tangem app on your smartphone device. And whenever one of our support employees, when you get in contact with the support, is asking us if you does you really have the latest and greatest update, because also the phone providers, no matter if it's iOS or Android, they also switch sometimes parameters, settings, etc. on the phones, where we need to react to it to make sure that safety is the same, that we also communicate in the right way with the NFC option in the smartphone. And that is why updates are absolutely essential to make sure that you are on the latest and greatest level and get the highest level of security.
Absolutely. So the app is constantly kept updated. We're making sure that our team is publishing all the latest and greatest that's coming behind the scenes, reactions to any kind of software changes to iOS, Android, etc. And we're confident to say that the advantages of a fixed, non-updatable firmware for the chipset has many different advantages, from no risk of interference, no forced updates. All the auditing that has happened was certified by independent experts before the device is released into the market. So it's definitely being tested. We are confident in the reliability, and that way, because it's unupdatable, we know that that version is remaining the same and it is intact for everybody. There's no security risks, trust concerns, and any kind of things that could potentially go wrong when it comes to some kind of software updates that could affect the chipset. Because it is unupdatable, you absolutely know that all of your assets are in one singular place, and everything is there to make sure that it cannot be changed, and there's no hidden backdoors, and there's no manufacturer attacks or anything of the sort. So minimizing the risk of liability and any vulnerabilities that come up. So we have plenty of wonderful, good things going for us.
And a lot of articles on Medium Live about our audits, our 2 independent firmware audits, the level of security, etc., etc. So if you really have a little bit of time, and maybe a rainy day or whatever, take your time and step through our Medium articles and check them out. We got them in multiple languages available. These are really very helpful and help you also build up a little bit more knowledge when it comes to the blockchain and a little bit background knowledge.
Fair enough. I was going to make a joke, something around the lines of, I know that it's February, but I don't think we'll be taking an evening reading all the certifications. But if you want to, and that's your cup of tea, then go ahead. All of our information is readily available, which is another point, that all of our information is open source. So we have multiple people assembling the app, making sure that everything's as it is, as we say, so we can be confident that what we say is the truth. So, good. All right. We're running through the last couple of questions, ladies and gentlemen, and then we will get to your wonderful questions. I've bookmarked a couple of these, so the stars, I will have them pull up on the screen. I'll show you what it looks like a little bit later. But right now, let's just run through the last couple of questions. So including, how do I find my transaction ID for tracking my transactions? This is a very quick and simple one. You can find this all within the Explorer. So when you have an asset onto your page, on the token page, you will see the Explore transaction history side of things. And when you click on it, it will take you to the Explorer's, the wallet's public address in the Blockchain Explorer. And then in there, you would have to scroll to your information. So seeing the transaction hash and seeing the success status, and of course, all the information in there. Side note, a lot of people ask us for the information to do with the swap transaction. So how do I find my TX for that? So as you will see on this kind of screenshot, you will have, so this is an exchange that I did. I didn't blur it out, but 400 is not that much. Please do not judge me. 400 I did here via Changely. So you would have to click on through this, and it will give you the information in there, what that status is going through. It would have an internal ID number, and you would have to reach out to Changely, but I'll show you this a little bit later down the line, how it looks. So you have that information there for you, just in case.
And in the great scheme of things, you maybe forget something, or maybe does not come through that monitor, etc., etc. Use your public key, go to the network and check it. I mean, for Etherscan, for BNB scan, most likely every, or nearly every network got their own scanning webpage where you can put in your private key, and then you can see what have you swapped, where does your funds go, etc., etc. That's also a very good idea, or a very good method of identifying where your assets are, what have happened there, and where did they go. So I mean, blockchain is an open book. If you know how to read it, you're very, very intelligent.
Absolutely. But this is, you've already answered this question, really. where do I go if I have a problem with the swap? So this is the same process. You would go to the asset page, you would then go to the provider, and then you would see the status of that transaction. So you would see the transaction ID if you need to reach out to the support team. Again, swap transactions are done through partners, and we are not the people who operate those kind of transactions. Of course, these partners are vetted, and we are able to integrate them into our services. But if you have any kind of swap issues, then it would be your best shot to reach out to them directly. You would go to the provider, see the transaction ID, and if you wanted to, you can reach out directly onto that platform. There's maybe other methods. Again, we are not the swap provider, so I do not know about their methods, but you would have all that information ready to go right there. If you need kind of our help and support, we can also help you get in touch with the right people. So that's there for you. All right, David, one of the last few questions. What are the most common mistakes that new users make with Tangem, and how can they avoid them?
Yeah, there are a couple, but let's focus on the biggest one. I mentioned earlier that burner wallet topic. So if you just hopped in right now, spool a little bit backwards and really check out that burner wallet topic, this is really highly recommended. I can really tell you that saved me a lot of times, a lot of money, because if you're going to interact with DeFi applications, WalletConnect, with maybe contracts you don't know you may interact the very first time with, make sure you don't use your main wallet. Just use a burner wallet with a couple of bucks in fees on it. And I also really need to make a big shout out to Sarah Valenti. Thank you very much for your participation in the chat. And you really mentioned another point that I do all the time, and that protects me as a user that is most likely 9 years in the market from any damages or any lost funds. Send yourself, if you use a new wallet, if you use a new address or a new exchange or another hardware wallet, send at first a very small amount, $5 or $10 of cryptos to that wallet to check if network is correct and the address is correct. If these funds arrive safely, then send the rest. I do that every time when I'm in the option of losing money that really bothers me and hurts me. So this is something that I can highly recommend, that again protects me from losing any assets. So far I have never, really never ever, and I knock on wood right now, and never ever lost any assets because I use a test transactions at the very first time. And another thing that comes in line with that, really take your time when you do transactions. Don't do this between one thing and the other. It is your money, you're responsible for that. Take the time that this transaction needs. Check the network really correctly, and also make sure that the wallet address is correct. And don't bother yourself with maybe something in the middle. You know, take your time, sit down, relax, and do this in an appropriate time.
Absolutely. And similar to what you were saying about, just taking your time. Another thing is just don't think this is the same interface as a centralized exchange, who have different processes to how they interact with networks. So just something to keep in mind is when you add a token, for example, you're searching for something, this is a token. If you search for them, you might assume that they have the network actually connected, but some tokens we do not have integrated on all of the networks. So just be sure to double check whether you're activating the correct one. So if you're using that token address, that is for example, like the Ethereum network, that you're not sending over a different network, that you might not check whether that asset is available or not. Sometimes when you send from a centralized exchange, it doesn't show up that little pop-up button where it says, careful, this is a wrong network, you're sending over the wrong network. So like David said, test transactions. There's no rush. There's no speediness that you need to do something very quickly. Just be sure that you're taking your time. So as somebody said in the chat, don't jinx the luck. So, all right. David, I don't know. Maybe I should run through this myself. How do I find support, since we're talking about help support and so on? When you get your Tangem wallet for the first time, you will have a little pamphlet inside there that will guide you to the setup process. Second, you also have your wonderful Tangem guide. It sits on the domain guide.tangem.com, and then you have all the information such as the introduction, getting started, all the troubleshooting informations, basic videos that will help you understand what kind of decisions to make about your assets. Of course, you also have the method of communication that we have is email support. Now, a lot of people do come to us and they ask, why don't you have some sort of calling system? We have to remind you that the crypto space is cruel. It has a lot of scammers in it, and it has a lot of people who are trying to use your assets to better themselves. So Tech support can be impersonated. Tech support can be copied. We've seen a lot of fake scammers on, for example, Telegram, on Twitter, posing as members of the team and offering their guidance. So this is something that we want to remind you of. Never trust anybody that reaches out to you first. This is the biggest rule of crypto, the biggest rule of any kind of communication with people. All of our moderation team and support team is trained to never, ever, no matter how much we want to, we will never reach out to you first. So email is the best method to get in touch with us, as it is a safe and secure method of reaching out to us. So as frustrating as it must be, it is still there to support you. But we also have another resource available, which is on Telegram and on Discord. We have our wonderful moderation team. Shout out to them if they might be watching or rewatching. We have a wonderful team. Maybe there's around like 10 people all in all, counting our wonderful helpers and moderation team. And we are there to also make sure that we have that one-on-one communication that is not just about technical issues. We can guide you through product information, through any kind of questions that you have that is maybe not technical. And even if it is technical, we can sort it out ourselves or pass you along to the right team. You can also find myself there answering people and making sure that everybody is guided and supported. So just know that we have all of our socials, which is monitored and helped with by the team. All right. I think I'll run through this again. You'll do most of the questions that people answer later on down the line. So this is a final question for today before our questions. So guys, this is a perfect time to start asking all of your questions, and then we'll be getting to the answering section. So we'll put them up on the screen a little bit down the line. So where can I see Tangem's roadmap? We have this wonderful resource. It's called community.tangem.com, and we have a range of different informations in there, from the roadmap information to how to ask for tokens to be supported, or any other ideas that you have. In terms of roadmap updates, you can contribute to us via our community channels, and you can also look at the roadmap updates. In terms of new updates that are coming out right now, you can go and check out this resource at the moment if you would like. We have a range of different tokens that are being released, I think right now actually, in app stores. And then over the next couple of weeks, we're also going to be having a little bit of updates. But our big 2025 roadmap, based on your suggestions that we had over the last couple of weeks. We've been gathering all of that, and that is coming in March. We'll be publishing that. We're working behind the scenes with the product team, just making sure that we have that big 2025 roadmap. It needs to be updated, not just based on the prior recommendations, what people wanted, but what is in trend now, what is necessary, what are the features that are missing to make sure that we are keeping at that #1 position in the market. So those kind of features are going to be announced next month. And in the meantime, you always have this resource. I update it every single week. So if it's not updated, you can personally take it up with me, and then I will be sure to get you a latest update. All right. Speaking of updates, I think we are ready to go with the wonderful community questions. All right, let's breathe a little bit. Let's ask your questions. I'm going to switch off the presentation, and now we're going to run through the questions. We've all been very brave. This is a longer AMA than what we're normally doing. We normally do 1 hour. So final little stretch, and then I'll let you all go home and play around with your tangems. All right. All right. Just before we take the live questions, I'm going to be pulling them up on the screen. How about, David, you run us through one of these that we didn't quite cover. How does one stake cryptocurrency in Tangem? While you run us through it, I'm going to start pulling up the others on screen.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I mean, we have also integrated on the side to Tangem Express, where you can really safely and easily swap your assets. Also staking on Tangem. There are a lot of options right now with a lot of networks, and we're implementing really ongoing new networks. I can really highly recommend you just check out our socials. We have on YouTube a couple of videos online. We also have on Medium a couple of very, very good articles how that works. So you're really right now capable to stake a lot of assets, like for example Solana. I think BNB is also on there. We also have, I don't want to say anything wrong, it really changes from week to week. I think we're right now at 6 or 8 assets where you can really directly stake on Tangem. So that also is a very high level of security to make sure that none of your assets get lost or you even maybe sent to a wrong network. So that is the very safest and securest way to also participate on staking. Like on the bank account, if you leave your money there, you get a little bit of money extra for give the bank that money to, that they can work with it. And this is the same what we do. We have additional providers that connects us to staking pools and make sure that you also get a beneficial reward when you decide to stake assets.
Absolutely. So this is also one of the questions that was asked a little bit in the chat before. Do we have any plans for Ethereum staking? At this time, no. There's a very simple reason for that. Ethereum staking requires that there is a very high minimum amount that you need to contribute into the system to get staking rewards. I think currently it's around 32 ETH. I might be wrong in that. Please do not hit me later. You can take it up with me later, but not live. So that amount is very cost prohibitive, and there are plenty of other options online that you can connect via WalletConnect and do the same transactions with. So native staking within the app with Ethereum isn't really a priority for us, but we do have, as I pointed up on the screen earlier, we have our roadmap. So any kind of changes, you will be the first to know by publishing that in there. So nothing will go beyond your knowledge. Don't worry, we will get to it. We also have a couple of questions ahead of time about, do we have any additional options to add 2FA to text and phone codes? David, you can answer this one, but quickly from my side, we are keeping everything with anonymity in mind. So David, take us away.
In the general scheme of things, I mean, we don't need additional two-factor authentication because, like I said in the beginning, Tangem really makes sure that you own something like the card to prove that you are the owner, that you know something like the code, what works in parallel with a card to maybe log in into your account, and something you are, like the face scan or the biometrics. So I know I'm copying a little bit another product, but I really love that method of something you know, something you have, and something you are that we do from the very beginning to make sure that there is nothing additional needed. So in the great scheme of things, we have a 3-factor authentication. So we're way better than that what you ask for.
Yeah, we have anonymity and we have all of the different methods to make sure that it is you who has it. But the idea was always great. If you have more ideas, feel free to drop them into our Discord or Telegram or anywhere else. We'll be sure to note them down. We actually have a system in place. We note down everything so much that we have a gigantic tally. Every single thing that is asked, we make sure that there's no duplicates, that we check that it's the same person, not asking it again and again. We make sure that all of the tallied things are up to the latest standards. So we have new polls coming out all the time. If you have more ideas, we'd love to hear them. But for now, let's do another question. So what is the reason that you can't add another card after 3 cards? So essentially, why is 3 the limit?
That is a very, very smart question. So let's imagine you have set up only 2 cards. You maybe lose 1 card, and the thief really knows what it is. He grabs a new unused card and add that to your existing card. What does he have right now? Correct. He has a set of 2 cards, what empowers him to reset your private PIN on the card. And this would be an open entry for scammers. So therefore, like I said, our smart development team thought about that earlier and said, no, we don't want that. We really need to make sure that once you set that up, you set it up only once, and there is no bypass through our safety measurements and safety reasons that we created earlier.
Gotcha. Good answer. Let's run through the next one. Do you have KYC on Tangem? David?
We
no.
don't.
It's a very quick answer. No.
And we don't plan to do that.
No, there might be elements that have it down the line. This will be a completely separate product from our line, which will be Tangem Pay. It is completely separate. We've talked about this in the past, but we'll dive into it in another AMA session. We will have one coming up relatively soon. Tangem Pay is essentially a payment with crypto service. It might have some sort of KYC elements to it, but it will be completely separate from Tangem as a hardware wallet. So nothing to worry about. There's no KYC. All right, let's take this one quickly. I think I can dive into it very fast. Are you considering another audit? Correct. We are at the moment looking into the side of things. Of course, these things take time. They are very costly. They are difficult to arrange in terms of making sure that the audit is of a very high standard. Sometimes people have audits which are maybe not with the best standards in mind. So what we're doing currently is we are considering looking into this direction. More information will be available down the line. I think in the next couple of months, we're going to have our Tangem CEO come on for another AMA. Our most recent one was a couple of months ago, and he will be sure to guide you through this absolutely, because safety and security is our top of mind. Cool. We have a compliment that I've starred and I wanted to put in here because I always like a good experience. We also have this one, which is Tangem is the best hardware device in terms of user experience. Aw, shucks, thanks. All right, next question. Well, this is more of a comment as well, that the access code should be highly secure. Absolutely agreed. Let's keep that in mind. This is another quick question just for all the new people who haven't heard of this before. People who do come to these AMAs know this off by heart. Do we have plans to incorporate NFTs? Yes, we do. It is on the roadmap. It is due out this quarter. We have everything month by month evaluated in the roadmap document that we have. Again, reminder, it is community.tangem.com, and then you can go to /roadmap, but you can also find it in the original link. We have all the information in there in terms of what networks, what kind of NFTs that you would like. David.
It's really important to understand that we have a lot of resources. We have a very big team spread out all over the world. Even if we're a Switzerland-based company, we have people really working in their offices everywhere. And we really need to make sure that we integrate the topics, the things, the features, the networks that you really ask for. So like Anna said, shut us right away what you want, what you really think is a priority for you, and then we integrate these features according to the wishes of the community. And NFT is something that we really have for most likely 2 years on our roadmap, but it just hops every time a little bit to the back because some new cool features come up and the people said, no, we really need that network, we need this one. So therefore, NFT support was not very important. But like Anna said, we're integrating that right away in this quarter.
Of course. We also don't like to talk at you. We don't like the community just hearing what we have decided from our high up horse that we're going to create this and you're going to love it. We work the opposite way. So we have these one-on-one communications. I will say my own praises, but we are leading in terms of how we communicate with our audience. We tally everything up. We make sure that we have the best in class one-on-one communication with our community. So that in mind, we release the features that are important to you, and we update this all the time, making sure that you are heard. Okay, I'll stop praising myself and just answer some questions. All right. This is more like a comment. Didn't realize that Tangem could connect to DeFi. So when I decided to stake a coin and moved it from Tangem to another wallet, and then it connected and staked. So theoretically speaking, can you stake on an external platform or use external DeFi platforms?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I have a bunch of crypto assets that are most likely micro nano cap projects that I'm using my Tangem wallet to stake them. Like I showed that before, I use my burner wallet because even if I trust them and I use them a couple of times, I really only do it by my burner wallet because then I can make sure that I don't lose anything else that I got on that wallet stored out, because I really have money on there that probably hurts me if I lose it. But yes, you can really use applications that allows WalletConnect 2.0 to get connected, because this is our standard, to make sure that we really have the safest and securest way to do that DeFi application connections.
Absolutely. Okay. Final couple of questions. If you have a burning one, this is the perfect time to make sure that they are there. David, run us through this one. When are we going to get fresh addresses for BTC? This is not about accounts. This is more about just having multiple different addresses.
Yeah, this is also something, multiple addresses that we have for a little bit longer time on our roadmap. But like I said, the community just higher rated other potential things. We have that on our roadmap. I cannot say a specific date, but we know this is burning. We know people need that. It is a very, very, very user-friendly option that we have to have, that other wallets have that as well. We're working on that. I couldn't tell you a date right now, but we are continuously working on that to make sure that we have it on the securest and the safest level implemented into our wallet. Hopefully
Okay.
soon.
Great answer. Very politically correct. I love it. Okay, let's do this quickly. Tangem in Australia, or will I have my ordered cards come from overseas? Two ways to go about this. One is you can either order directly on our website and then we ship it to you directly. There is no problem with ordering through maybe through Amazon, which is also a third option, or ordering through a reseller, which is the second option. There is no difference. You get the same products. It is authenticated by us. The app will tell you if there is any cause for alarm. There's nothing to be concerned about or worry that you are getting some sort of inferior product. No, it all comes from the same warehouse. It is all certified by us. We make sure that you get a good product. So it's basically just up to you whether you want to order on Amazon, whether you want to order directly on the website, or do you want to go through a reseller's path. I know that we have a couple of resellers in Australia, maybe one or two, but we definitely can also perhaps pop in around towards the end of the year, which is option number 4. You can find us at a conference, which is always the best route to go because we love talking to the people. And apparently you guys like talking to us. Okay. Let's do this one very quickly. Can we set up like an unlimited amount of cards instead of 3?
No, you can really, okay, yes, you can, but you can't. So in the great scheme of things, if you use the option of seed phrases, you can import your seed phrase from one wallet to multiple other wallets. I will highly recommend you not doing that, but this is an option you can do. Typically, if you have set up your wallet with a maximum of 3 devices, and I mean devices, 2 cards, and your cool Tangem ring, what we haven't talked about. I don't know why, Anna, but we have a cool ring available. So this is really the maximum, 3 devices, 2 cards or 3 cards or 2 cards in one ring or 3 cards. If you really want to have more wallets, then you set up with seed phrases, but again, we don't recommend you because of getting social engineered, getting stolen, etc., etc. And then you can import that seed phrase on additional wallets from Tangem. That is possible, but there are not many needs you have to do that.
Okay, gotcha. I'm seeing that you guys are still active and watching. The numbers are not dwindling, and we are 1 hour and 15 minutes into it. Even though the numbers are not dwindling, and it seems like you are enjoying our company, how about we wrap it up with the next couple of questions? So if you have a burning one, this is your last warning. Go ahead and ask it, and I'll put it up onto the screen. Alternatively, we also have our wonderful moderation team available 24/7. They will answer you within a couple of minutes in Discord and in Telegram. We also have a Reddit page where we have an active community. So depending on where feels more comfortable to you, we are here for you. But for now, ask your questions and we will finish up very soon. So this is just touching upon the last couple of things that we've talked about. Can you reset your access code? Can you have different access codes for each card and each wallet set? David, take it away.
Yep, that's a good thing. The access code on each card, I mean, once you watched my installation guide, the access code is written on every card. So every of these 3 cards got the 4x0. But what you can do in the app settings, in the card settings, security settings, you can reset your code for each card individual. So you can have one code on this, a totally different one on this, and a third one on this. What's pretty cool, I never used that, but for the really biggest level of security, that is definitely possible.
Yeah, the option is there, and that is the best method of putting around it. Okay, fresh addresses for BTC. We've touched upon that. Let's do this one quickly. Do we have plans to do a multi-sig option? David, you can answer this one quickly.
Honestly, I don't know, but I hope we have.
That's a good politically correct answer.
Yeah.
At the moment, no, this is not part of the functionality. Any updates, we'll be sure to tell you via roadmap. So don't worry, we will not leave you guys hanging and without any information. Ha ha ha. All
I mean,
right.
I honestly, I know that we have talked about that, but I don't know how far it is on the roadmap because this is most likely a feature for companies. What is very important, very interesting for us as companies, I think as well. Also, when it comes more to security and safety, this is something that you have to have, that at least 2 or 3 people need to sign the same transaction to approve it. That's good.
All right. One small little teaser, and then we'll wrap up for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, when is Visa and Tangem Pay coming? Give us a little bit of information, even though we've teased that we will be announcing everything a little bit down the line.
Yeah, this is also moving a little bit. We've planned that recently for the first quarter of this year. We have also planned this last year. But as things are, if it comes to fiat money, everything gets more complicated. And this is really absolutely stunning. But for now, Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, it is planned for middle of this year, correct?
Things shift and change.
Okay.
The way that we look about it is such a revolutionary product into the entire space. There is nobody who's able to do it as a hardware wallet that you can pay with immediately and use that in store. It is a completely revolutionary product. It is nothing to do with just a Tangem ecosystem. Whether you have a Ledger, a MetaMask, a Trezor, whatever you come from, you can always use Tangem Pay. It is a completely separate product from Tangem as the hardware wallet side. So given the scale of how important this product is to the advancement of crypto, we want to give it the correct distribution information. We don't want to just sprinkle it in and just say, oh, there's Tangent Pay. We want to give it the gravity of the importance to the marketplace. So we will be announcing everything a little bit down the line. You have to be patient with us. We're doing everything we can, but with all the regulations, improvements, making sure that everything is up to tip-top shape, we have to make sure that it is going to be announced a little bit down the line. But good news is it is already in beta testing. So we have people who are actually running around and using these in real life. If you spot one, take a picture and let us know. I'll leave it at that. All right. One final thing. I changed my mind because we talked about this a little bit before, but this is, I promise, the last question for the day. So how do I back up a ring to another ring? This is just quickly to run through. Can we back up different devices? Can we mix between packs? Can we have 3 different rings and so on? David, you tell us, you do it best.
That's a good thing. So if you have watched the very first thing where I showed how to, let me say, set up a hardware wallet, you can see here, this is a set that is from middle of last year. This is a set that is from the end of the year. This is a set, one card from, I don't know, Anna, when did we launch that? I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. So you can definitely mix everything you want, as long as it's the same version. This is 1.0 version, as far as you know. This is 2.0 version. You cannot mix this with the 2.0 version. That's not possible because there is a different chip inside there. But you can also put the ring as this card or as this card or as this card. What you can also do, as far as I know, and Anna, please correct me if I'm wrong, you can also put 2 rings into a set plus 1 card.
You can
also do
if you
3
want.
rings. Yeah, if you
If
want
you are
to.
bougie and you have all the money in the world and you want to have 3 different cards, then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You can really mix everything with all the cards. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the same set as long as the same version. But like I said, we're selling since 1.5 years only the 2.0 set. So there's no to mix up cards. You can do that.
So do anything you would like. We've made everything to be simple, safe, secure, easy to use for anybody, depending on whether you are new or you are pre-verified and you know everything about crypto and nothing can sway you in the world. Tangem is made for you. It is made by you with your community voice. And speaking of the community voice, we have a couple of our helper and moderation team. They're a little bit joking in the community sections. They're asking, who's your favorite mod team member? What I kind of want to illustrate by this is the Tangem community is so welcoming and so inviting that we've had people who, just came in just to say hi and then ended up joining the team later down the line from the community. So when we say that we are a community-first company, we actually mean it. We stand by that, and we have no favorites because you are our favorite, the dear, wonderful listener who's about to join our wonderful Discord and Telegram groups. So, David, I think we've wrapped up for today. We've done nearly an hour and a half. How are you feeling? Are you ready to wrap up? Do you have any final words, parting wisdom, any last recommendations?
I could really say I couldn't add something to that what you said. The community is wonderful. We love the people out there. We love the feedback, no matter if it's positive or negative. We're learning every day new things from you, ladies and gentlemen, and whatever you identify, that's perfectly fine for us. We're not in the States, so it doesn't matter. Come to us, give us your feedback, and we're more than happy to have you. And you come first. And again, what you said was wonderful. I couldn't add anything else to it. No, just only. Thank you very much for having us today. It was a pleasure to answer your questions, and I'm looking forward for the next session.
Absolutely. Great, wonderful session. Apologize, everybody, for going a little bit overboard, but we love to make sure that everybody's happy and all your questions are answered. So I'll leave you with this wonderful upbeat song. It's cowboy themed. You, David, were there when we did this cowboy themed outro. You're going to love it. It has all of our great stress testing in terms of how great the product is. I'll leave you with that. Until next time, everybody, have a wonderful month ahead, and we'll see you all in the next session in March when we will discuss the greater 2025 roadmap. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye bye.